Speak in general terms, as a 3D artist, there are a lot of scope in India as well. We can start off talking about product design, where we need a lot of 3D artists for visualization in a 3D perspective, or even working in any animation or gaming industry, or you can even start off your own company as a 3D lancer, taking up works from many bigger companies or even smaller companies as well, working from home at any point of time. So there have been many doors opening year after year, and many people are actually moving to this field, not because of just the money, but also for the passion of creating beautiful 3D art and making a fame and name throughout the entertainment industry. Well, basically to start off with this kind of a career, you will definitely need, the most important thing is passion. As long as you have a passion in your blood and are ready to give a lot of commitment to this kind of field, your skills can be developed from time to time, and you will be able to learn more and adapt more. The thing is, with this kind of field, is relating to technology, it'll keep on growing, and many tools and techniques will be developed from time to time. So having a skill is something which it's necessary, but most importantly, I'll say passion is the core of everything. Degree is always important in any kind of a field. It's always appreciated. Having a degree and a master degree gives you an advantage of everything else, whether you are studying in medical, studying in art, or anything else, because it has it defines you of how much dedication and study have you given to this kind of field. So it helps you to even build a career abroad. So getting your chances of applying a job or even further study abroad gives you an advantage and an edge to it. So I think having a certificate to satisfy you with that, how many years have you spent even developing your skills, makes a lot of adds a lot of weightage and makes a lot of differences than the others. Well, we find inspiration almost looking at our daily life, or almost everything that we see in the internet, or even through our colleagues and friends and even students as well. They have, many people as an artist comes up with very different kind of ideas. I have my own mentors who had been able to inspire me from time to time, and also other people who has been posting their works. Just the number of artists flocking in this kind of field is just in millions and millions of numbers, and every day we see that in many forums and even in any social website, they've been posting their works, which they have spent many hours and hours of commitment in delivering beautiful artwork. Looking at those kind of fields, we get inspired with different other ideas, and I guess even looking at our daily life outside, we can create many aspiration artwork, and people having many kind of concept ideas, or even taking the ideas of what we see around us. I think it creates a lot of that concept where how we can take whatever we see around us and make it into a 3D visual art and have its own story as well. So wherever art that we create, it has its own story, and whether from emotions, how we pose our characters, or even developing a small asset like a prop or a car or anything else which has its own history, tells a story of what it has been through. And I guess that's what drives a lot of inspiration to each and every artist as well. Fine arts is the core of everything else in art, actually. So for example, if I tell you, for one to grow as a texture artist, you'll need to have a good fine art background. I've seen many of the people who has the knowledge of color wheels and how to play around with even traditional colors. It helps them develop as a texture artist naturally, and they grow even more faster, and for them developing even as a concept art becomes organic to them. Even for a 3D modeler, I'll say we do require fine arts, even if you don't know colors, but even pencil down each and every concept in the paper, or even understanding the shape makes a lot of difference. It clears out a lot of doubts of how the shape should be, or even how to create an environment, understanding perspective. Those things can be resolved both the 2D visual and bringing back to 3D. So fine arts, I think it's one of the main core for everything else. 2D art has its own concept where you can define by painting and mixing a lot of colors, or even playing around with the highlights and direction. It can't be real time, so it has its own pro and cons, whereas the same goes with the 3D. 3D mostly it's being a 3D dimensional, you can play around and see in real time how it works, whether in games or even in animation industry as well. Getting more detailed will be a little more something which can be done in 3D, whereas in 2D, mostly in traditional games, and even till today, where we use for social games or even mobile games, 2D art mostly don't rely on detailing for the smallest thing, but mostly all about visual and depicting all the emotions in the art as well. So there's a huge difference between them, and both has its own advantage, and both has its own fun of how do you walk around it. One thing is about this institute is, unlike others, we try to teach how the student should take art very seriously, also make it as a passion, and most importantly, we don't encourage students to learn the tools. We do educate them, and some of them which are very, very important, but mostly we try to encourage them to develop their skills and take that to the next level, because as we know, in the technology will keep on changing time to time, and many new tools will be introduced in the industry as well, and we are trying to keep the trend where we follow the exact same pipeline and the same kind of technology what the industry are using at present day. So giving them the basic knowledge of how do you survive, with giving the skills of how do you survive in the industry, whether it's animation, gaming, or even programming, whether the tools can be changed from time to time, they'll still be able to adapt and procreate anything else just with the basic survival knowledge. Gaming industry as itself, it's one of the most biggest industry when speaking at the present day. It occupies a large sector in the entertainment industry, and it's $1 billion industry, and it keeps on rapidly growing from day to day. The scope in India, as we know, right now it's growing at a very gradual rate, and in a span of 5 to 10 years, I think India will be one of the hub where gaming industry and even animation industry will keep on emerging in every nooks and corners. So I think for many, it'll open up many doors for artists, programmers, and many other individuals who are interested in such fields.